Hey everybody, today I'm going to make a chocolate fudge cake. This is the chocolate cake you'll want to make for birthdays, parties, or just because it's today. Let's get started. First, I'm preparing my cake pans. I'm using two 8-inch cake pans. You can certainly use two 9-inch cake pans if you like. If you'd like more tips on preparing a cake pan, just click on the card above. I'm going to start by preparing my dry ingredients. I'm combining 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon salt, and 3/4 cups unsweetened cocoa. I'm going to give this a whisk just to get it all mixed evenly. All right, looks good. For the wet ingredients, I'm going to measure 1 1/4 cups milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and a 1/2 teaspoon instant coffee, which has been dissolved in a tablespoon of hot water. Mix the milk, vanilla, and coffee all together. Now it's time to go to our mixer. Cream 2 sticks of softened butter. That's the same as 1 cup. I'm really just doing this to get the butter started. It should only take about a minute. Okay, I'm going to lower the speed a little bit, and gradually I'm going to add 1 1/2 cups of sugar. Now you could go up to 1 3/4 cups, but I like to sit at 1 1/2, especially because I know the buttercream I'm going to put on the top of the cake. Okay, all the sugar is added. I'm going to crank this up to high. I'm going to beat this for another minute until it's light and fluffy. I'm going to lower the speed, and I'm going to add 2 eggs, one at a time. Mix well between each addition. So I'm really just mixing until I no longer see streaks of egg yolk. Now it's time to add the wet and dry ingredient. Make sure you're mixing this on a low speed. Going to alternate adding the dry ingredients in 3 parts and the wet ingredients in 2, meaning I'm adding dry, wet, dry, wet, dry. Why do we do this? This helps your cake batter absorb the ingredients better. Scrape the bowl down when you need to. All right, the last of the flour is in. All right, I'm going to crank this up just a little bit to smooth it out. I'm only going to do this a few seconds. Okay, I like to actually finish my cake batter by hand. I just get those last few flour streaks, and doing it this way helps me not overmix the batter. Okay, now I'm going to divide the batter evenly into the cake pans. I'm just counting my scoops. It doesn't have to be exact. You can certainly use a kitchen scale, and I've done that. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. You can either scoop it out, or you could use a measuring cup. That works too. I often smooth out the top of the cake with the spatula that I'm already using, and it works pretty good. In this case, I have just a little hump in the center, so I'm pulling out a spoon and just finishing it off. I dropped the cake pan a couple times just to try to move and knock out some of those air bubbles. If you're wondering, what are those things wrapped around the cake pan? They're called cake pan strips. They are not required. I use them to help bake a flatter cake. Bake in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 30 to 35 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean or with just a few crumbs on it. Cakes are done. I'm going to cool these cakes on a wire rack. After about 10 minutes, I'm going to flip these out onto the cooling rack. I can tell right now this is looking really good. If you're tight on space, here's a trick. Sometimes I flip a cake out onto a small cutting board. It makes it really easy to kind of just slide off onto the cooling rack. Now it's time to use your favorite buttercream to top this cake. I'm using my chocolate fudge buttercream. I've already shown you how to make that, but for those of you who haven't seen it yet, the short version is combine 2 sticks of unsalted butter with 2 1/2 cups of confectioner's sugar, a 1/2 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 3/4 cups hot fudge ice cream topping. Now we're going to layer this cake. 2 tips before we start. 1, whether you are using a cake circle or a plate, it is helpful to put a dab of frosting in the middle. It can just help prevent your cake layer from sliding around a lot. 2, chill your cake layers in the refrigerator before you start frosting them. It'll make them easier to handle. You simply wrap them in plastic and put them in the fridge to chill. Now we're going to layer this cake. when I put the first layer of buttercream on, it's important to spread it out to the edges. Now put that second cake layer right on top. Again, I'm frosting the top, spread that buttercream out to the edges, and I'm going to do the sides. Now this buttercream is pretty thick and creamy. I actually went around the whole cake and then came back at it with the extra buttercream because I wanted to make sure I had enough for the swirls. Swirls, I just make S's and C's. This type of cake is really easy and fun to make because I'm not trying to make it perfectly smooth. And here it is, your 2-layer chocolate cake. Already you can see how soft this cake is. I wish you could taste this. Actually, if you make it, you will. Tell me how you like it. This cake is so moist. It's got a great chocolatey flavor, and this chocolate fudge buttercream is the perfect complement to this chocolate fudge cake. I hope you get a chance to try this cake. If you have any questions, let me know. Just drop them in the comment box below. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, just hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I post new videos. Until next time, ciao!